Hey guys! There was a trend on YouTube called Asian Americans growing up in the States.
I don't know why I just laughed.
And I was like, hey Sarah, we should do our version too of Asian Americans growing up in Japan! So explain our history.
Our history.
So we were born in New York.
Yay.
We were born in New York.
Yay.
We lived in New Jersey for most of our childhood until I was 15 and she was
11.
And then we moved to...
New Jersey.
No, we moved to Japan.
Oh, we moved to
Donghae.
Japan.
And ever since, we've been living here for the past decade. And our dad is Korean and our mom is Japanese. What, you don't?
Nothing.
And when we moved to Japan, we didn't know any Japanese. We only knew how to speak Korean and English. So yeah. What? Do I have something on my face, you don't? So without further ado, we're gonna talk about our experience in Japan as Asian Americans. What was the hardest thing you had to leave behind? Soy. Definitely soy. If you're watching, I miss you, soy. Definitely friends and family, my grades. I went to a really good high school and I studied really hard to get into that high school. My status in terms of athletics, because I was also the captain of the volleyball team and stuff. How about you?
Around like 5th grade was when actually I had like the best grade. I started to make a lot of friends. So I was sort of disappointed that like right when I started to like make a lot of friends, I had to move like that.
Do you have more English speaking friends or Japanese speaking friends? I hands down have more English speaking friends.
That's a hard question. I would say I have friends that speak different languages.
Like Chinese.
Yeah, like a Chinese, some Japanese that can speak also English.
I do have both English speaking and Japanese speaking friends, but I don't have Japanese speaking friends that lived in Japan only and grew up here.
That's funny. I only have one friend that's like seriously Japanese.
Other than that, it's like 帰国子女とかハーフとか外国人. All the Japanese friends that I have, they at least have some experience living abroad.
Yeah,
like no Junjapa people. It's just we don't click.
People are quite intimidated when they talk to me.
How did you learn Japanese quickly?
It wasn't quick, y'all.
It took me a good year until I started to understand what everyone was saying and was able to communicate. But until then, I was really quiet and I just sat in the corner. I think we learned quickly though is because we went to school.
Yeah.
And everything in school was in Japanese. I had one-on-one classes with this Japanese teacher and she would teach me. And she gave me all the lists of hiragana and all the lists of katakana and she gave me one day to remember everything.
Hiragana and katakana, I remember just so fast.
1日だけ?
1日でいけたよ. Like, they even asked me to do that and I remembered it in one day. Sorry. I'm smart, y'all. I'm smart. I had to be in like a little classroom by myself and I was just like, for like hours, I would just be doing Japanese. But then like the teacher, like he was like our mom, so like sometimes we would accidentally call him like, Okasa! Like that. And then we would like do kancho to him and stuff.
Do you think in English or Japanese?
This is an interesting question.
I think both.
Me too.
By default, it's English. Also because like a lot of my media, it's all English. Like the books I read is English. The videos I watch on YouTube, it's all English. But 例えばバイトとかだったら, like if the お客さん 's talking to me or like I'm 数えるんだ冊, then it's like, yeah. I think in Japanese and English.
I think it just depends on what kind of environment we are. Like, because when I was like in the Philippines, it was like always English, my brain. That's why I forgot a lot of Japanese. But like right when I came back to Japan, like, you know, I hear a lot of Japanese, so I like remembered my Japanese again.
What are you thinking of right now?
Right now it's of course English.
Okay, 明日何するのとか考えたら。
で言われたら日本語になる。
待って、日本語で質問したからってこと？
そうそうそうそう。
Okay. I think it's like 混ぜ。
Yeah, it's like Meg.
Like how we're talking is probably how we're thinking.
Yeah.
Were you ever picked on? せーので
Yes.
We both have been picked on. So I moved to Japan when I was 15 and that's like when everyone's going through puberty and that's like when everyone's like trying to fit in and everyone's stressed out even in their own skins, right? So people are gonna find someone to pick on and I just happen to be an easy target. I used to get yelled at a lot by this one girl in Japanese and she used to take money from me and pretend I didn't know. Other kids in the class, it's not that they picked on me, it's just that I just didn't have friends. I was like an outsider. Like I always did things on my own.
Yeah, that was like a really weird thing about Kokusai. We went to international school. There were a lot of like people with different nationalities, but then they literally only lived in Japan. Though, a lot of them.
Yeah. So they were
Yeah, so, like,
basically
in the end,
Japanese.
it's just like it looks like an international school, but then it's like almost like Japan.
Yeah, it's a
except the
normal
faces
Japanese
are
school.
different. Yeah.
Yeah. That's very superstitious. What is that called?
Yeah, a lot of the boys would pick on me because I'm like gaikokujin. They would like push my chair on purpose, like when I'm sitting in it.
Really?
Atama ni, they would like throw balls at my head.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
There was like this really tall kid that like really hated my guts for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then like during art class, he would always like look at my artwork and he would like make fun of it.
What did he say? Do you remember?
I don't know what he said because it was in Japanese and I don't know what Japanese and stuff, but like Huinki tekini, I could tell who was like making fun of it.
Elementary school kids are more aggressive, I guess. What was your biggest culture shock?
I would say the fact that in Japan they don't really say things directly. In the States they're just like this, but they would say like that.
Say if you don't like something, Americans would be like, I hate this candy.
Yeah.
But Japanese people would be like, I think it's okay.
I think it's okay, but like the flavor, I feel like maybe it was too sweet. Very vague. Like
You have to be good at reading between the lines.
yeah. They don't just talk with their words. Like they also talk with their face, their gestures. I think it's like really important.
Communication is very different.
Like it felt like everyone was like talking behind my back. I feel like people were always telling me lies because it was like just so vague the way people spoke. But now like I know what it means, and you know that's just like the way that they express their feelings. So I don't really have that much trouble now.
Me, everything was culture shock, from the school uniforms to getting to school by train. Oh, another thing was I was really culture shocked that everyone was so small here. I've met the skinniest person in Japan. I've never seen someone so skinny. I was like, みたいな。Like,
それはあった。
how does someone be so skinny and still live? みたいなぐらい細い人めっちゃあったり。Whoa, like everyone's just so tiny. Of course, there's skinny people in the States, but oh my god, when I came to Japan, it was just really extreme.
Another culture shock is that Japanese people really care about weight and like health. Also, the
Japan.
rules were really culture shock too.
Oh yeah.
Like you're not allowed to dye your hair or like have piercings and stuff.
That
like
was
those
really
kind of stuff.
crazy.
And you're not allowed to like paint your nails.
No makeup.
Yeah, because like in our school, since it's like an international school, there's like girls that are naturally blonde and stuff. And they said that your hair is not supposed to like a bright color, but like that person's a bright color, so that person
Yeah.
just have to make her hair black. And then there's like some foreign girls that color their hair bright
But it's
colors. But
okay.
yeah, because it's like if it's a foreigner, there's still possibility that their hair is like naturally bright, right?
Yeah. That was annoying.
Yeah, that was annoying.
We had to wear long socks.
Yeah,
even
we're
in-
not allowed to wear colorful socks.
Yeah, we have to wear the long navy or white socks. No, not even white. It has to be navy, right? You're not allowed to listen to music on the way or back home from school, and you're not allowed to eat snacks on the way or going back home.
Like you're allowed to buy
'Cause it looks
snacks,
darashinai.
but you're not allowed to eat and walk.
Yeah.
And you're not allowed to cross a red light because you sort of represent the school because you're wearing the uniform. It's like no.
And
If
you
the teacher
can't-
caught you, that you can so.
And you can't gaishoku suru with the school uniform.
Yeah.
Which is
Even
so
with your
messed up.
family, when you're like eating with your family.
Yeah, which is so crazy. Like
know.
after school, what if you're hungry? You have to go home waza and change. Like that's so mendokusai. Any advice for a younger generation of Asian Americans living in Japan?
Just be really open-minded.
Yeah.
And be really accepting to
Yeah.
the changes.
We're going back to a country where it's full of people that look like us. When I first came to Japan, I was expecting it to feel more like home, っていうか, people would understand me more. But I realized how much not home Japan was.
Yeah.
Just because everyone looks like you, like, yeah, don't expect it to be like the States, because it's not like the States at all. It's a very introverted country, whereas America is very extroverted country. Just be open-minded and like,
Yeah, like I think it's really important. Like even just because like the society is like really different from like the way you think, it doesn't mean that you have to think the way they think. You just have to sort of, you know, accept the differences.
because technically you're in the foreign country.
Yeah.
The norm that you are raised with isn't the norm in this foreign country. So you
Yeah.
can't get upset with the foreign country because you're the not normal right now.
technically.
Yeah, so you can't just like expect everyone to understand your expectations and your opinions because of the culture you were grown up in.
Yeah.
Which was our big mistake. Well, my big mistake anyway. And then I started to feel bitter. But
Like
there
I
was
don't know,
really
I feel
no need
like
to.
like we weren't told anything. You know, talk about we just like came out of the blue, like literally, like
Yeah.
it was so sudden everything.
We got a 2-week notice. and we had to pack everything and just fly.
It was really fast to think about it, like the whole thing.
Everything. Yeah, I guess that's our story of Asian Americans living in Japan. I hope you guys found this interesting. If you guys have any other video requests, please comment down below, and we'll see you all in the vlogs. Bye!